John Murphy at Murtech.com with your daily news update. Okay, here we are on May the 12th in the year of our Lord 2026. Let me jump over here to Murtech on Rumble. This is my Rumble channel, and this is the video that we're going over tonight, episode 1915. This is my live stream. Let me click on that. And the video, go ahead and pause that and close out the live chat for the moment. Slide down here and click the show more button to expand out the description box. We have information from Dan Bongino, Doug in Exile, Rubin Report, and Wendy Bell Radio. But before we get into that, I do have some shout outs to give from Bisons, just started following my channel. Redwood Rose 101 just started following me. Ken Wiesner just started following me. Carmen Duhaime just started following me. Suze Capoke just started following me. Gail Williams Campbell just started following me. And Zach D. Films just started following me. So thank you very much, folks, for following me. I greatly appreciate that. I hope you're tuned in, and I hope you enjoy the content. All right. Debbie BS reposted my episode 1914. Mo Hailstone 3 commented on my extra 694B. Myron 54 commented on my daily news wrap-up. Uncloudy, Debbie BS, and Viper Sr. commented on my episode 1914. Bay State Jim 95 commented on my extra 694B. Cotton Ball 31 commented on my extra 696B. Debbie BS commented on my extra 697A. Foxy Grandma and Debbie BS commented on my extra 697B. Okay, so thank you very much, folks, for reposting my videos and your comments. I enjoy reading your feedback, and I definitely appreciate your support. So let me give this a thumbs up. There we go. And if you could give me a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate that. There's one of those thumbs up icons right below the video you're watching. If you could just scroll down there and tap it or click it with your mouse, that would be fantastic. Okay, Dan Bongino, Maximum Political Warfare, episode 2513. Let's check this out.
I was going to put this at the end of the show, right, guys? And then like a minute ago, I'm like, I'm in a mood today, a good mood, but I'm an adversarial mood, and that we have to course correct the record, okay? AOC's, but I get it. Before you bail out en masse, it's not about her. She is the liberal left, again, like a high-powered magnet, are attracted to stupidity. On the liberal left, the dumbest people typically win. It's how you get stuck with people like AOC. But she said this the other day about this country and its founding and the billionaires with the talking points. And it is so disgusting, grotesque, and an inverted sense of reality that if we don't correct it and your kids believe it, I'm sorry, this show's for nothing. Check this out.
This is in the heritage of our country because America was founded. You look at Thomas Jefferson writing to Madison in revolt of British aristocracy. The American Revolution was against the billionaires of their time. That's actually the most American thing in the world for us to be fighting for the working class. And it's actually patently un-American to try to aspire to transform our country into a place of kings.
Holy Moses, ladies and gentlemen, I get it. This woman has the IQ of like your pet rock. I understand it. But please, please do not ever tell me in the chat or elsewhere she's irrelevant. She is not irrelevant. I hate when people say that. Just like the black pillars and the doomers, they are not irrelevant. They are very relevant. They are relevant for the wrong reasons. But us pretending they're not relevant is probably the same thing they said about the Bolsheviks, Lenin and Stalin too. Oh, they're irrelevant. Ignore them. They are not irrelevant. They have massive followings because dumb people believe this shit. Is she unaware of like the Boston Tea Party? She unaware of what the Declaration of Independence was? The whole concept of men being created equal, unalienable rights. Did she miss that whole thing? Folks, the signers of the Declaration of Independence, many of them were very wealthy people who lost their freaking money fighting the revolution, you freaking idiot. I'm going to play a little clip by Michael Knowles in a second, who did a great job with this. However, I'll give you one. I grew up in Queens, okay? I've lived all over Queens, New York. I lived right in Bayside, Whitestone. As a matter of fact, it's where I met Paula. Paula had an apartment in Bayside. It was the first time we went out on a date. I dropped her off at her apartment. It was like a little place. It was like, I don't know, 400 square feet, this tiny little place. Francis Lewis Boulevard is right there. Francis Lewis Boulevard is named after who? Anyone know? That's great. Guy got it. I was giving him a who's buried in Grant's tomb question. Francis Lewis. For those of you who are history majors, Francis Lewis was a wealthy businessman of the time during the Revolution. The British imprisoned his wife under horrendous conditions. I mean, tortured this guy and his business and everything else. He's one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. He was a wealthy, basically in transatlantic shipping. Do you guys not know this on the left? Are you freaking stupid all the time? Lefties, how? Oh, gosh, I can't. The Queens in me needs to come out sometimes so bad, but Gennaro, help me. You go into the merchant, you got discipline, you play football too. Gennaro didn't even know you can be on the show today. Why, liberals? Do you have to be dumb all the time? Is there ever a time you choose not to be stupid? Washington was wealthy. John Hancock was wealthy. Francis Lewis was wealthy. They could have sat on their asses and done nothing and collected their money under the protection of the tyrannical British Empire at the time. And Francis Lewis, for those of you who are history middle finger to you guys. We are going to fight a revolution anyway, even if it costs me every dime. AOC, are you always this stupid? Do you ever tell the truth about anything? Climate change, taxes, eat the rich while you're, swimming in money yourself, you phony fake. They could have sat on their asses, American revolutionaries, and done jack shit. And they didn't. They wanted to freely practice their religion. They wanted to be free of confiscatory taxation from a distant empire. They wanted to be able to vote for their own leaders and not swear allegiance to the king. Did you miss this shit? Did you go to one history class? Folks, do not ignore this stuff. I'm telling you as your friend. This woman is very relevant. She's also one of the dumbest human beings you have ever met. I'm not even sure this is misfeasance or malfeasance. There are a lot of very smart people out there. Liz Warren's very smart. She's very devious, but she's smart. She's not stupid. She knew exactly what she was doing with Pow Wow Chow. AOC's just really stupid. The problem is dumb people are attracted, again, like high-powered magnets to other dumb people because they don't want to feel dumb. They don't want to be in a room of smart people so they look like idiots. This stuff resonates. The revolution was fought to protect the billionaires. Shut up, you idiot. Here's my good friend Michael Knowles, who's just unbelievable on these matters and affairs. Here's a short clip. It's about a minute, but really? The billionaires, they were fighting to protect their billions, meanwhile going where that cost them? Morons. Check out the great Michael Knowles in response to this.
George Washington, the father of our country and the absolutely invaluable, irreplaceable man of the Revolution, was one of the richest men on the continent in his age. At the time of his death in 1799, His estate was valued around $780,000. That's roughly $500 to $600 million today, inflation adjusted. That would have been worth a little under 0.2% of the entire U.S. GDP at the time. Washington was, inflation adjusted, if not a billionaire, he probably would have been a billionaire had he not fought in the revolution, but he was pretty close. Other than Washington, we look at another founding father, Robert Morris. Robert Morris was one of two people to sign the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, and the U.S. Constitution. Robert Morris was the single richest man in the American colonies of his day. So not only is AOC a little bit imprecise in her analysis, she is exactly perfectly wrong. She has described the inverse of the American Revolution, which was led not against the billionaire class, but actually by the very richest men in the entire colony.
Hey, man, listen to this. Thank you, Michael. That's fantastic. Fantastic. I want you all to listen to me. Friends don't let friends shit on their country, okay? Let me tell you something, okay? I've traveled a lot. I've been to, I don't know, doesn't matter, 40 plus countries easily, and probably 50 plus cities. Liberals are like, what do you mean? There are countries that have multiple cities. Liberal, you'd be surprised how many dumb liberals would be like, how is that possible? They think there's like one anchor city in the country. You go to places that all human beings are created equal. That's what the Declaration of Independence, embodied, that big R God-given right. I get that. But not all countries are created equal. That is axiomatically true. There are a lot of countries out there that have governing structures that are just shit. They're totalitarian, confiscatory, anti-freedom, anti-capitalist. I tell you that because, folks, I've traveled to countries that don't have 1/100th of our wealth, our heritage, our allegiance to freedom and liberty and God-given rights. And you know what? The citizens there are proud of their country, even though they couldn't hold a candle to the United States. Yet you come here to the greatest country on earth and you get this class of dipshits. All they do all day is find a way to drop a big, dirty freaking diaper on the United States. And it's exhausting. You can see why these kids don't want to defend this place. We got kids that are now, they don't want to take care of themselves. They're not proud of their country. They don't want to live here. Who the hell wants to be in a treehouse with a bunch of dipshits? They don't. You're in a freaking gold-plated treehouse full of wonderful, amazing people. Look at the Revolution, Valley Forge, the Battle of New Orleans, and the War of 1812, and Andrew Jackson and what they did down there. Do you have any idea what the unbelievable odds that have been overcome so you can sit in your room right now and play video games on the most advanced technological tools of our time? You have any idea what people suffered through? Folks, it is your job to teach your kids different. I've been bringing up these little historical tidbits every day. The Elon tweet yesterday about the Nazi Party being National Socialists. They were National Socialists who were concerned about basically collectivizing collective power, the confiscation of the means of production, and overwhelming government force. That's not a conservative principle, bro. They were leftists. That's just a fact.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause this there. And, he's absolutely right. AOC and all these others, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, all of them, moan and groan about the billionaires while they sit back and they're worth multi-millions themselves. You know what? They're jealous of the billionaires? No, these billionaires, they spend money and people benefit off of the money that they spend. They also produce jobs. How do you think they got their billions? They didn't steal it. Okay, some of it was made in the stock market. But then again, when they buy stocks, then it makes that stock more valuable because there's more people owning it. So everybody that owns that stock benefits from that. I don't get it. Why they're so jealous of their rich while they sit back in their mansions with armed security guards around and drive around in their chauffeured automobiles, brand new luxury automobiles, and yet they bitch about people that have money while they sit back and have shitload of money themselves. But then again, that's the Democrats for you. They always point fingers to distract you from them. Let me click on this Rumble link here and show you that this video does come from Dan Bongino. I am following his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. All right. Well, let's jump back here. And hi, Shebe63. Thank you for joining us in the chat. I'll get back with you here in just a moment. Let me slide down here. And let's see what Doug in Exile has to say. Psychotic, Nancy Pelosi reveals Democrat plan by how she accuses us. That's it. But they're redirecting, accuse us of the shit that they're doing. Moan and groan about the billionaires while she's worth $600 million or some shit like that. Let's see what Doug has to say.
Democrats always accuse Republicans of what they're actually planning to do. So this interview with Nancy Pelosi, listen to the scam that they're going to perform at this fall's midterm elections. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. Our happiness comes from our joy in the Lord, our love of country, our love of our family, our love of our fellow patriots, even this community. And so it can't be touched by the evils of Democrats. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be happy or not, depending on if Democrats win or lose, but I do experience a little internal happy spike knowing that the Democrat Party is going to just fall on its face under its own weight of falsehood. Speaking of falsehood, here's Nancy Pelosi.
We always have concerns, but with this president and these Republicans who have no commitment to the rule of law and doing things the appropriate way.
What? We are the ones that eschew the rule of law? Oh, those Democrats, they're so known for their rule of law.
We're ready. We have three purposes now. One is to win the midterms. Two is to make sure the elections are safe. And three, to tell people what we will do when we win. And that is the mission. There's so many things that you can do to protect the election, and they are being done, whether it's litigation or legislation or just mobilization, communication, all of that. But in addition to that, we have to be on guard as to what they may try to do to the technology. They may try to creep into the technology and create a false count.
How do you guard against that?
How do you guard against a false count?
Well, you could go with paper ballots and don't use these voting machines to count that. But you know what? The Democrats would never, ever go for that because they couldn't forge ballots that way. They couldn't have people coming in and jerry-rigging the numbers. You'll never. They talk good stuff, but actually it's just crap that's coming out of their mouth.
Democrats projecting this is exactly what they're going to do. You get into the technology and produce a false count. Remember, I lost my channel because I said we believed that elections can be cheated. And the Democrats said, you're called an election denier. It was a big, fireable offense in politics to be shamed. And all I ever said was both Democrats and Republicans believe that elections through technology can be stolen. Now, why isn't YouTube removing Nancy Pelosi from their platform for saying that elections can be stolen? In fact, I have videos, like an hour of footage of Democrats saying that the 2016 election was stolen by Trump. So I just want to remind everyone, this is a normal thing for people to believe. I'm not saying it's true or not. that elections have been stolen, because there's a lot of reasons why 2020 went south for us. But I just want to say, Nancy Pelosi says that the 2020 election could have had people infiltrate the technology and steal it for Biden. She's the one that said it, not me, YouTube. So go after her. How's that? Now, this is about straightforward securing the border. Trump says why we never put an X next to a Democrat.
As straightforward as securing the border seemed to be once you got into office, it almost implies that another president could reverse it as quickly. Is there any way to protect against that in the future?
Yeah, vote Republican. It's very simple.
Vote Republican. It's very simple. This goes out to the people that say both parties are the same. Both parties are just as bad. They're all bought and sold. No, the Republican Party is great. And that's why we never put an X next to a Democrat. You'll never catch me disparaging the Republican Party, even Thune and all those guys and Mike Johnson or whatever. You'll never, or Lindsey Graham, you'll never see me disparage the Republican Party the way that I disparage the Democrat Party. Because at the very least, we got to remember what the Democrat Party did. For instance, all of our expensive gas prices now, and they are expensive. They can be expensive, up to, $5 a gallon for some people in America. Here's Joe Biden. Remember what Joe Biden said when gas was the same price or more under the Biden regime. And of course, the press, no one had a problem with the high gas prices then.
When it comes to the gas prices, we're going through an incredible transition that is taking place that, God willing, when it's over, we'll be stronger and the world will be stronger and less reliant on fossil fuels.
Oh, okay. He's calling it an interesting transition. It's just a transition, guys.
When this is over, you see what Europe is doing relative to the importation of Russian gas. You see what, anyway, I won't go through it all, but, and what I've been able to...
I won't go through it all because that would imply that I can finish a thought or a sentence.
...do to keep it from getting even worse, and it's bad. The price of gas at the pump is something that I told you, heard me say before, would be a matter of great discussion at my kitchen table when I was a kid growing up. It's affecting a lot of families.
Yeah, it's affecting a lot of families. They didn't care because they stopped all of our oil production. And his model, he said, was like Europe. And Europe can't get gas now because of what's going on in Iran. So we have to stay strong in Iran. It looks like we're going to in some way extend that and go back in because Trump is saying the ceasefire is kind of done. Here he is on Iran.
For the time being, the ceasefire remains in place.
It's unbelievably weak, I would say. I would call it the weakest right now after reading that piece of garbage they sent us. I didn't even finish reading it.
So this is the ceasefire, he says, is very weak. That is, it's about to collapse. By the way, as an artist, I just noticed, look at his lovely purple tie. That is totally cool. And it matches the lady behind him wearing purple. This is a very rare event from what I see visually. But the Iran thing, it's weak. It's about to collapse.
I said, I'm not going to waste my time reading it. I would say it's one of the weakest right now. It's on life support. They understand these are all medical people. Dr. Oz, life support is not a good thing. Do you agree?
Bad prognostic.
I would say the ceasefire is on massive life support.
It's on life support. It's about to die. And Trump is basically signaling this thing is about to collapse, guys. Here's Fox News with more.
For the fourth time over the past week, this time Iran launching 2 drones. The defense authorities say they intercepted both of them. And as you mentioned, President Trump receiving the latest proposal from Iran. He says it leaves less than to be desired. Posting on Truth Social the following, quote, I have just read the response from Iran's so-called representatives. I don't like it. Totally unacceptable. An Iran state broadcaster posting detail of his response saying U.S. to pay war damages to Iran, recognition of Iran's sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz, end of U.S. sanctions, release of Iran's blocked assets. All these terms likely non-starters for the White House, of course.
This is because the Iranian regime are lunatics. And we keep emphasizing this, that Trump is trying to negotiate with a death cult. They have some kind of confidence, though they've lost their Navy and their Air Force and they're running out of options. They're doubling down with a religious belief that they're going to take over the world with their occultic practices. And I think that's something that Trump is having a hard time. He keeps thinking they're going to break, they're going to break, they're going to break. They are not going to break. Here's more of Trump.
In the world, I built it largely in my first term. And I didn't know I'd be using it quite this much in my second term. But very simply, when they say, does he have a plan? Yeah, I have a plan. Plan is very simple. In war, you have to change. You have to be flexible. You have a lot of plans, but you have to do different plans in different days. But I have a great plan. But the plan is they cannot have a nuclear weapon. And they didn't say that in their letter.
They are still trying to have a nuclear weapon. They're not conceding that they can't have a nuclear weapon. Trump is going to have to go back in. That's what we keep predicting. I don't know when it's going to happen, or someone's going to have to go in. It might be the United Arab Emirates. Now, here's a cool one. This was posted from the White House. It says, zoom in to see a Monday morning greeting today. So this is one of those UAP blurry images. You see the black dots, but down here is a special little printed message right down here in the corner. And I got to zoom in for y'all. It says, make America great again. Trump does not care about those UAPs, by the way. And here's Tom Cotton finally wrapping up on the Iran deal.
Iran targeted these Arab countries. They didn't plead for peace. They didn't ask Donald Trump to stop. They asked Donald Trump for targeting information so they could join in the strikes in Iran. That's what a real coalition looks like.
And I think this is good news. The United Arab Emirates, the Arab coalition now that are coming around against Iran, that they are just asking us for targets that they can hit. They're going to use our intelligence. And I think that's our best way out of this without putting our troops on the ground. And we're able to still kind of lay back and let them do all our dirty work. What do you guys think? Are we going back in? Will Iran ever crack when they're a death cult and they lose all power if not able to threaten the world with nuclear weapons? They lose everything. And the Strait of Hormuz, I believe Trump's going to turn it around. I believe we might also go back in. But this ceasefire is about to break. I'm Doug in Exile.
All right. We pause that there.
In my first term.
There we go. Let me slide down here and show you that this video does come from Doug in Exile. I am subscribed to his channel on YouTube. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. And Trump, yeah, we'll probably have to go back in. I mean, you know, I'm sure Trump had his reasons. He keeps talking about the nuclear weapon. And actually, all he's done is just, fire a bunch of missiles and drop a bunch of bombs and use a bunch of drones to wipe out some of their leadership. But folks, that area of the world is a warring and conflicting area. I mean, they have been battling between each other for centuries. Actually, thousands of years. It goes back in the Old Testament. For thousands of years, that's all they've been doing is fighting each other, war with each other. Okay? And I don't think Donald Trump is going to solve that situation in a few months. Okay? That's in their blood. It's in their culture. All right? So I don't know. It's maybe one of those never-ending wars, because it is never-ending. It has been never-ending for thousands of years. Okay, let's jump back here and close out the chat. WBS and SheB63. Rubin report. Republican gives a chilling warning about AOC goes viral. Okay, let's see what that's all about.
I take her seriously because of what Brad said. She is the energy. That's where, on the left, what she does and what she says, as silly and stupid as it may be, that's where all the energy on the left is right now.
And just understand that this woman is a clown. She is a ridiculous buffoon. I think we have a video compilation that would illustrate such.
My favorite part was when he said that American cowboys came from Spain.
I thought they came from Winnetou, but
I believe the Mexicans and descendants of African enslaved peoples would like to have a word.
The American Revolution was against the billionaires of their time. And we're declaring independence from such an extreme marriage of wealth and power.
And how Black Americans really created democracy in this country.
That's exactly right.
How they literally made something from nothing.
Perhaps my colleagues were not fully present for the events on Wednesday, but we came close to half of the House nearly dying on Wednesday.
It goes on, guys. It goes on. My favorite one of those is that Black Americans created democracy. Black Americans, like, it's just, she's literally combining George Washington and Thomas Jefferson into George Jefferson. I love that joke. I don't know how many times I've done a version of it. And if you don't get it, watch the Jeffersons, and you could learn way more from Wheezy or even from the housekeeper. What was her name? Thelma Tompkins? What the hell was her name? What was the housekeeper's name in the Jeffersons? And the actress was Marla Gibbs was the actress. And what was her name? She was always fighting with George. Florence. The point is, you could learn more from Florence about American history than you could learn from that woman. However, she will likely run for president one day, and here is Scott Jennings on that.
Yeah, I assume she's running. I mean, I take everybody seriously, except Newsom, who I do not take seriously.
What? Well, we'll talk. Put a pin in that. Go ahead.
But I take her seriously because of what Brad said. She is the energy. That's where, on the left, what she does and what she says, as silly and stupid as it may be, that's where all the energy on the left is right now. You look at the primaries that are going on at this moment. They got this Plattner character in Maine. They've got lunatics running in Michigan. All the energy in these Democratic primaries are flowing towards people, and they'll forgive anything, even a Nazi tattoo, as long as you've got the right radical energy.
And of course he's right. So you got the Nazi tattoo guy, you got the Islamist in Michigan, and we see what they did. You know, Spanberger in Virginia, she kind of ran as a moderate, became a crazy lefty the second she was in power. Zorhan actually ran, I will give him credit. He ran as a lefty lunatic, and he's governing as a lefty lunatic. And congratulations, New York, you're getting exactly what you asked for. But what would a President AOC usher in? Well, she'd usher in exactly what Zorhan promised.
We'll draw this city closer together. We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
Yeah. Well, how warm is it now in New York City? Because they're losing all the money, and quite literally billions and billions of dollars are being siphoned out and largely going to Florida. You know, I had a tweet on Friday that, well, maybe we could grab it real quick. Just end it. My tweet about the Ken Griffin Cancer Center. It's been here for a while, but I was driving in Miami, and I passed at the University of Michigan, the Ken Griffin Cancer Research Center. Ken Griffin, of course, is the guy from Citadel who Zorhan stood outside of his condo and said, this $238 million condo here, when you're going to burn something down and rape the women, this is where you want to do it. Well, Ken Griffin, although that building had been built here already, he's moving a ton of stuff right now to Miami. And congratulations, we will get all the people who will build things. We will get all the jobs. We will get all the cancer research centers. I think we've got the image, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I took that picture. The Kenneth C. Griffin Cancer Research Building. Well, congratulations. And even the fact, the way I took the picture, I happen to be driving. I try not to touch my phone when I'm driving, but the fact that there is a crane right there showing we're building like that, that's the picture of the year. MFA.
On June 11th, the Rubin report.
Okay, he's going into a commercial. But that's just what I mentioned just a little bit ago. You know, they moan and groan and bitch about billionaires, but what do? You know, they're greedy. I'll admit that. They want more, so they're going to invest. They're going to build things and put people to work so they can make more money. But, you know, in the meantime, while they're making money, all the people around them are making money too, making a living. Being able to buy cars, being able to buy houses, which generates the economy in other areas. So, you know, billionaires being bad, unless they stole their money like Pelosi, I don't know that there's a problem with that. Okay? Now, you know, you might want to say, so how many yachts does a person need? How many private airplanes does a person need? You know, I don't really need any myself, but, you know, that's me. You know, you kind of shake your head when they have 2 or 3 yachts and 4 or 5 homes. A home in New York that you don't even live in. Obviously, he bought that for an investment. Whatever. But, with Zoran Mondami going to tax people for, just having a home that's, you already pay property tax, but you're going to tax them more because it's worth more than other homes. What the frick ever. Okay, let's click on the Rumble link and show you that this video does come from the Rubin report. This is the video that I shared with you. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. But I believe Ronald Reagan said this, that he's never gotten a job from a poor man. So, the billionaires might be all bad as far as Democrats are concerned, but, they give people jobs, okay? You'll never get a job from a poor man. A paying job. You might get some, some work, but you'll never get a paying job from a poor man. All right, let's see what Wendy Bell has to say in The Truth is Closer Than You Think. We're going to take off right here after she does the Pledge of Allegiance.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go to my neighbor's house. She and her wife, and about 25 years between them, which is a very interesting story. 2 women, married, 2 great kids, and they're both personal trainers. They both have their own clientele, and they both literally work hour by hour from 6 in the morning until probably 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Training people, literally, it's a revolving door, one after another. And the particular person who I work out with these 2 women, we were talking this morning in the gym, and I said to them, because this is where we would normally be watching the news. I don't watch the news generally, but it's always on in the gym in the morning. And I said to all of the people in the gym today, I'm like, whatever happened with Nancy Guthrie? Whatever happened to that? Because literally for 4 weeks, 2 of the 4 weeks, wall to wall, nonstop, every single moment was breaking news. Nancy Guthrie, 84-year-old woman with a cane, just disappears, poof, from her Arizona home. And I want to get this straight, right? We are no closer to finding an 84-year-old woman with a cane than we were 101 days ago. That's how long it's been, you guys. However, we can go to the dark side of the moon. Tell me how that works out. We can fiddle with a virus, the furin cleavage site. I know, it's sexy when I talk science to you, right? Which told us what? Oh, the virus had been manipulated. Curious. To make it deadlier for humans. Oh, thanks, Fauci, you perjurous liar, right? We could do that, fiddle with a virus, unleash it to the world, kill millions of people, but we can't find an 84-year-old freaking woman with a limp, right? The mystery, what happened to her? It was 24 hours. And I was like, look, I didn't understand the 24-hour stuff, but I do understand loving your mom. I think that if somebody goes missing in this country and we have the opportunity to pull together and try to find that individual, that we should do that. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a full month and no needles moved, right? What do we learn? Well, her pacemaker or what have you, defibrillator, whatever it was, stopped transmitting at a certain time. The door camera stopped working shortly before that. Nancy's car was missing. That's it. That's all we know. And then there's some video of some guy walking up looking like Sasquatch who's fiddling with it and putting like weeds on. I'm like, what are we doing? What do we get? What do we get? We've got a $1 million reward plus $100,000 from the FBI. It was nonstop, wall-to-wall, choppers, dogs, infrared. You got like what? People with their crystal balls. Let's have a seance. What does everybody know about this? 0. You mean to tell me that after 101 days of state-of-the-art law enforcement with science and technology that is unparalleled, you mean to tell me that in a world today where we're now waking up with the knowledge that aliens have been not only, yes, known, but maybe they've been involved in some weird breeding program with human beings? What? And that this has been going on for a while, but we can't find an 84-year-old woman with a cane. Are you out of your mind? Anybody else feel weird about this? Anybody? And then I had to start thinking about this. Why was it such wall to wall? Because her daughter is Savannah Guthrie? She's not that great. I'm sorry. Nobody deserves to lose their mom and never get closure. But it's not like she's like some rock star, like what have you. We've got television people all the time. We had to glom onto this one woman, and we're still no closer today than we were. What else is going on in the world, ladies and gentlemen? I question everything. I question the timing of everything. Did you see what President Trump truthed out this morning? I sent it to Brock, but I said I didn't want to play it because it's long. But it's Jonathan Turley talking to Will Cain. President Trump truths this out to hundreds of millions of people around the world, ladies and gentlemen. People wake up in Iran watching this. People wake up in Egypt, in Israel, in Pakistan, in the UK, Canada, everywhere. And what's the one thing that President Trump truths about this morning? He puts out a video from Fox News with Will Cain talking to law professor Jonathan Turley about whistleblowers who've come forward to members of Congress to say that Adam Schiff is the guy who's been the conduit of all of the secrets that have been leaked, all of the stories about Russia collusion and all that stuff. And Donald Trump puts that, wake up 8:13 in the morning Eastern time, bingo, that's what he sends out to the world. Adam Schiff is a scumbag. Okay, so we've got something actual that's going on, which is the unwinding of the deep state, which is the exposing of the desperation by which the measures Democrats will go in terms of winning anything, trampling democracy, packing the court, going against legal precedent, impeaching an entire panel of Supreme Court justices so you can bring in the ones that you want that vote the way you want them to vote. Are you out of your mind? You've got that circus over here, a la the endless search for Nancy Guthrie. And then over here with the president, we're having burn bags found in secret FBI offices with thumb drives and other documents that have been left behind. We have whistleblowers going to members of Congress and unwinding all of the players. We have Nicolas freaking Maduro in American custody. Do you not think that the former president of Venezuela is not singing like a flippin' bird trying to save his own hide and basically connecting all of the dots of the theft of the 2020 election? Like, it's all right here, which is why they needed Nancy Guthrie, and that pisses me off. And you know who's the biggest defender of it all? Fox News. Fox News, it's like all of a sudden for 100 days, at least 30 of them, they forgot what it was like to actually do news. They're like, this is all we have. Right after this, we've got more breaking news. Nancy Guthrie, don't miss it. And literally after 24 hours, you could smell it. What are they hiding? Or what are they smoke screening? What do they not want us talking about? Because you know what? Nobody in my neighborhood was talking about Nancy Guthrie. They didn't talk about her on day 1, day 8, or day 100. So why? Now, I don't like being suspicious. I don't want to meet you and consider what your ulterior motives are. I don't want to look at you suspiciously and be like, what's their real story? But when it comes to the media, when it comes to the news, when it comes to the Democrats, when it comes to desperation, I believe no one and I trust nothing. And this is where we are. And you know what? It's a good thing. It is a good thing because we are waking up, my friends. So much has happened in the last several years, but we are, as a party, as a Republican Party that is filled with conservative, make America great again, America-loving patriots, truly, who have fought for years so that we all could be on this same page on this day. We're seeing exactly what is going on, and the Republicans are beating the Democrats at their own game. Again, if you're ever doubtful of what the deep state is up to, listen to their favorite mouthpieces squawk on and on and on about Trump and his administration, because everything they accuse the Republican Party of doing, they've already done. and are probably in the process of still doing. Trump put out that message for a reason today. Don't you get so comfortable, deep staters? It's called grand conspiracy for a reason, because it doesn't have a statute of limitations. We're not burdened by those rules. We can come after each and every single one of you, which is why maybe John Brennan is sounding awfully nervous, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful day to be an American. When we come back, Hakeem Jeffries, well, we know he already is a low IQ Obama, but he's desperate to hold on to that speaker's gavel. Let me have it. So much so that he calls these Virginia lawmakers to get them to fiddle with the laws. Oh, Hakeem. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Unbelievable. All right, well, let me get it up here about the 22-minute mark.
Safer.
If we on the chat, excuse me, I don't even.
It's my dick, you know.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. So I'm trying to get in behind this stupid paywall to this article I put up here. And like a fool, I didn't log in during the commercial break, and now it's blocking me and not recognizing me. I love when that happens. Here's what we're going to do. I want to tell you here. I'm going to try this one thing, guys. Bear with me. The story that I want to share with you is about the desperation. I think it's a bad look. It's definitely a bad look, and it makes me happy to be a Republican, to watch the Democrats losing their minds, because basically the Republicans have caught on. It's been a little while, but we're finally catching on to what's going on. And the whole gerrymandering of certain...
All right, I'm sorry, folks. Okay, we're at the 23-minute mark. Now, when I started this up, I thought, wait a minute. Is this the same show? Let's get this back here. Okay. Let's get it back. Okay, look. Here she is. Her hair is down. She's got this, like, peach-colored shirt on.
Oh, Hakeem. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Boom.
How's it feel?
What?
You have the clock back.
It's, you know what? It's going to take some time.
Okay, she takes.
It's going to take some time.
I guess.
How does it feel to know?
And then she goes and puts her hair up. I mean, it's like
it's
totally different look.
1,052 degrees in here. I'm just going to say.
So I just wanted to show you that so that you didn't think I switched to a different. I want you to see that so you didn't think I switched to a different video of Wendy Bell. She did a quick change deal right there. She's a quick change artist.
So I'm trying to get in behind this stupid paywall to this article I put up here. And like a fool, I didn't log in during the commercial break, and now it's blocking me and not recognizing me. I love when that happens. Here's what we're going to do. I want to tell you here. I'm going to try this one thing, guys. Bear with me. The story that I want to share with you is about the desperation. I think it's a bad look. It's definitely a bad look, and it makes me happy to be a Republican, to watch the Democrats losing their minds, because basically the Republicans have caught on. It's been a little while, but we're finally catching on to what's going on. And the whole gerrymandering of certain states to the benefit of Black voters, right, under the guise of equal rights, is not something that we do in this country. And the Supreme Court said so. And now there's this mad scramble along the southern states to make sure that the primaries, all of this stuff is ready before the primaries hit. And there's a big redistricting scramble. You've been following it too. But when Virginia decided to change the rules, decided to push across a referendum and have people vote on it, allegedly, to demand that basically they redistrict the states and carve down the 5-4 Democrat to Republican majority to make it like an 8-1 or a 9-0, something like that, right? Where we're going to lose all of our representation. And the Supreme Court comes out and like, no, you can't do that. Or the Supreme Court of Virginia does. Hakeem Jeffries is counting on Virginia for a pickup of 4 congressional seats for Democrats for the midterms, period. And he needs that to happen in order for him to get the gavel back. He is a low IQ individual. He is a poor leader. He is a poor replacement for Nancy Pelosi, who, as dirty as stones as she was, you got to tip your hat to the woman for being able to galvanize a party and get all of the donors money in the right places. This is not Hakeem Jeffries' role. But I do want to read you this because the New York Times busted this, which is curious. And this is the headline: a private call reveals Democrats' desperation over tossing of map. A conversation involving House members from Virginia and the top House Democrat reflected the fury and the desperation that has gripped the party after Friday's ruling in the state. All of this stuff, all of the legal wrangling over how we draw congressional districts. Isn't it so funny how you see how little you matter? These people fighting for democracy, fighting to win they're not fighting for you. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with us. It has nothing to do with this most remarkable experiment. It just doesn't. And it's so gross when you sit back and you watch it and you see the desperation and you hear the words that they say. They're afraid. Hakeem Jeffries is qualified, literally, to do nothing else in the world. This is that moment. Democrats are struggling to respond to a major redistricting setback in Virginia, with some party leaders discussing an audacious and possibly far-fetched idea for trying to restore a congressional map voided by the court, but showing little indication that they have a clear plan. During a private discussion Saturday that included Democrat House members from Virginia and Representative Hakeem Jeffries of New York, the minority leader, the lawmakers vented anger at their defeat at the Virginia Supreme Court, spoke about a collective determination to flip 2 or 3 Republican-held seats under the existing map, and discussed a bank shot proposal to redraw the congressional lines anyway, according to 3 people who participated in the call. So you're just going to then go out and defy the law. That's called being above the law. No one's above the law. Didn't they tell us that? Donald Trump's not above the law. Who does he think he is? When we make up all sorts of crap about him, he's not allowed to defend himself honorably. We get to hold back information that could help him defend himself. He's not above the law. Really? What are you doing, Hakeem? You guys heard about this absolutely ridiculous 2-bit brain thing. Well, what we're going to do is, since we don't like the ruling of the Virginia Supreme Court, we're just going to go in and we're going to say, even though the mandatory retirement age for most state Supreme Courts is 70, the youngest person on the Supreme Court in Virginia that just overturned their racial gerrymandering is 54. So we're going to what we're going to do, this is a great idea. Hey, Bill, get in here. Here we go. All right. Look, I know the court screwed us. I know the high court is the court of the land, and they really screwed us. But here's what we're going to do anyway. We're going to just rewrite the rules, okay? And we're going to slip it in. And it's going to say that if you're over 54, you have to retire. If you're a Supreme Court justice in the Commonwealth of Virginia, nobody will pick up on it. We'll get rid of all those people. Then we'll pack the court with Democrats that we want. But wait a minute. That's going to take some time, isn't it? Wow. Let's try to do it anyway. This is literally the conversation in my mind. I don't know, but this is what I hear. We're not going to listen to the rules. We're not going to listen to precedent. We're not going to follow the Constitution. We're going to trample it. It's so funny to me that the Republicans are the ones who follow the law. The Republicans are the ones who pay attention to, adhere to the rulings. This president has been under a microscope for the better part of a decade. Do you think if he didn't, we wouldn't have heard about it, right? He's had to walk every single step in such a way. And here in a huge, blatant, in-your-face moment, Hakeem Jeffries and Virginia Democrats are trying to concoct some way to stay in power. It's rabid, it's diagnosable, it's deranged, and it's illegal. And I can't wait to watch him absolutely slither away into the depths of the unknown, Hakeem Jeffries. So when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, this is the moment you know that the deep state is serious and scared. John Brennan, former CIA director, admits there is a whole gaggle of operatives inside the DOJ to thwart Trump. Oh my, next.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause this there. And, you know, it's amazing the information that she gives out about how, again, the Democrats, they're so upholding the law. We talked about this the other night, how it seems like the Democrat Party is the party that does not obey the law. I mean, these judges, if someone breaks the law, they let them out on cashless bail so they can go break the law again, rather than holding them accountable. Unless, of course, it's a Republican, then they definitely hold them accountable. I don't get it. How people would vote for someone that's going to represent them that cares more about criminals than they do law-abiding citizens. I don't get it. Why? Why do the Democrats do that? I mean, if you sit back and, okay, so why do you support a Democrat? Because they want to allow people to come into this country, anyone to come into this country, regardless of whether they're a criminal or not. They don't want to vet them. Then when they do come in this country, they're going to use your taxpayer dollars to house them and feed them and give them an allowance, give them a free phone, give them free medical, give them free education. Is that what you want for every person that comes into this country without being vetted so that they can get their vote? Okay, so you think it's okay that the Democrats want to defund the police? You think that's a good thing? I don't know. But let me click on this Rumble link. It totally baffles me why anybody would vote for a Democrat. It really does. I mean, if there's a Democrat listening to me, please let me know in the comments or in the chat why you favor Democrat policies. You may not like Donald Trump, but when you look at the policies, like, I don't understand. Donald Trump wants to create jobs for people. The Democrats don't. But then where's the money coming from? To run their giveaway programs. All right, this video does come from Wendy Bell. I am following her channel. I've given her a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. All right, jumping back here. Let me remind you that these videos do come directly from the producers. I have the links to the videos in the description box, as well as the links to the producer's channel in the description box. And all these videos that I've shared with you are videos that I've posted on Mertech.com, where I have over 40 no-nonsense, common sense, logic, and truth information, the kind of information that you're not going to get from the mainstream media. This is your one-stop shop for reliable news and information. All right, I'd like to share all of it with you, but unfortunately I don't have the time to do so, and that's why I've put together my Mertech Daily News Wrap-Up. It says I have 21 videos here in my playlist and about 10 or 11 hours worth of great information. I've got the Wendy Bell video that we just finished watching part of. We're going to finish watching the rest of that. Also the Dan Bongino video, X22 report, Black Conservative Perspective, DeVore darkens, CNN drops nightmare poll for Democrats as Boston judge makes fatal mistake. Dr. Steve Turley, McWater's effect, Robert Govea, On the Fringe, Steve Days, and we know a ton of information here, folks. But go ahead and take a break right now. Grab a cup of coffee and a donut, or a sandwich and a soft drink, or maybe a nice glass of wine and some cheese, and give me about 15 or 20 minutes to get this set up in Rumble Studio, and we'll get back together. So I do want to thank you for being with me this evening. Hopefully I'll get to see you again later. Oh, wait a minute. Let me jump back over here. I forgot to copy the chats into the live stream. Back over. Here we go. Oh, Foxy Grandma, hi. I'm late, but here. Hello, all. Hi, Foxy Grandma. Let me copy this. I'm glad I came back and did that so I could get Foxy Grandma's chat in there. Okay, here we go. I hate it when I forget to do that, but I didn't forget to do that tonight. So there we have it. Okay. With that being said, I do want to thank you for being here with me tonight. Hopefully, I'll get to see you again later, and may God bless.